Which Georgia Bulldogs are bound for monster sophomore seasons in 2023? That's the video that I'm going to be talking about today. A lot of guys, both on offense and defense, I think are primed for big seasons this fall. Now, a lot of them played last year. We got a little snippet of what these guys could turn into. But I think this is the year where a lot of guys in that 2022 recruiting class, one of the best in the country, really shine and make a name for themselves. So let's start on offense. Now, the first guy that comes to mind to me is Oscar Dell, former four-star tight end from West Forsyth High School. We know that Georgia loves to use as many tight ends as possible, really. They're stacked at tight end. Brock Bowers is the main guy, might be the best player in college football. But without Darnell Washington, I think we're going to see a lot of Oscar Delp, who played a little bit last year, even towards the end of the year, played against Ohio State, played it against TCU. So he played in big games as the third string. He's going to slide into that number 2 role. I think he's going to catch a decent amount of passes. He's a willing blocker, too. Definitely a guy who I think is going to take a big step forward next year. Again, you can't cover both, right? Georgia's got plenty of weapons on the outside, but all eyes are going to be on Brock Bowers. I think in the 2 tight end set, I think things are going to really open up for Oscar Delp. I expect him to have a solid sophomore season. On the offensive line, Ernest Green, right? The big name who I think could win the left tackle job. If he does that as a sophomore, that means he's a very, very good player, beating out guys like Austin Blaskey and others for that left tackle job. So he's another sophomore from California, played really well in Georgia's G-Day scrimmage, and I think he could be a guy who really becomes one of the best, not only in the SEC, but in the country. Maybe not this year, but as a junior, and I think he could be the next first-round left tackle out of the University of Georgia. I truly believe that. We'll see how good he is as a sophomore. I expect a big season out of him, especially if he wins that left tackle job. Austin Blaskey's not going to give it to him. He might be Georgia's most versatile lineman. Can play left tackle, center, guard. That guy is a true Swiss Army knife. But at the end of the day, I think Ernest Green is probably the front runner to win the left tackle job. In year 2, that says a lot about how good he is. Staying on offense, right? Dylan Bell, we saw a little bit of him as a freshman last year. One of the best route runners on the team. He's strong, man. He's got a lot of muscle on him. He's not super tall, not super long, but he plays the position like a running back. He's great after the catch, can break a lot of tackles in a compact, muscular frame. We saw what he could do last year, but it's hard to say he's a breakout nominee because Georgia has so many weapons, right? Again, Brock Bowers is the go-to. He's the best player on the team. He's got to get his touches. Ladd McConkey came back. He's going to get his targets. You have to get him the ball in a number of different ways, whether it's down the field or in the screen game, short passing game. Ladd McConkey has got to catch the football. Dominic Lovett came to Georgia for a reason. He caught a ton of passes from Missouri last year. He's going to expect the same. You got to feed that guy the ball. So then I think Dylan Bell is going to be in that group of Marcus Rosemead, Jack Saint, Ra Thomas, Arian Smith. That's going to be where he's at on terms of the depth chart. So I think he's going to see more opportunities. I think he's going to catch more passes, but it's hard to say he's going to be more productive than Brock Bowers, which is not going to happen, Ladd McConkey, Dom Lovett. So he's going to be fighting for every opportunity, every target he gets, but his best football is ahead of him. And I know that Stetson Bennett really loved the ability to get open and create separation that Dylan Bell brought to the table. His toughness, too, I think the staff loves. So he's a guy that they want to get the ball more, but when you're loaded offensively with weapons all over the place, it's hard to imagine him, lighting up the stat sheet, so to speak, as a sophomore. But I do think he's going to touch the ball more than he did last year, and he deserves it. Branson Robinson, another guy on offense. I'm going to talk about some defenders in a second. Branson Robinson could have a breakout year, especially if, Dacian Edwards gets hurt, Kendall Milton gets hurt. I think he's probably rocking that number 3 role right now. But as we all know at Georgia, even if you're the 3rd string running back in Athens, you're going to get the ball. It might, you might not get the first carry, might not get the second, but you're going to get the ball because they have to keep these guys fresh. And I thought he was excellent against TCU, and those TCU linebackers and those defenders, I'm sure they're thinking, where did this guy come from? That's not Kendall Milton. That's not Kenny McIntosh. That's not Dacian Edwards. Who is this guy? who's running through us. I mean, as close to Nick Chubb as you're going to get. He fights through tackles, breaks tackles, yards after contact, a chain mover. He's got plenty of speed for a guy who's 220 as well. So definitely want to see Andrew Paul, what he can do when he's finally healthy. I know the staff was raving about him before he had that injury that ended his season last year before the season really got started. But year 2, sophomore, Branson Robinson, I think, is going to really open up a lot of eyes. And by the end of the year, a lot of people are going to be talking about, okay, this guy might be the best running back in the SEC for the 2024 season. That's how good I think he's going to be this year. Now let's go to defense, all right? Before I do that, pick up Double Dogs. Not too late. Not too late. Father's Day is in a week. Do it now. You might get it in time. Newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. Lots of content coming out. But Double Dogs might be the best book in the world right now. It's hot. It's flying off the shelves. Get it while you can. It's unbelievable. Now, talking about the defense. Marvin Jones Jr., I'm not sure he's going to have a breakout year, but this is a big year for him. I had a source tell me, hey, that guy's really good. He's long, he's athletic, and get after the quarterback. But he better take hold of one of those outside linebacker jobs, or else one of the younger dudes are going to get it, right? He's got to fight off 3 really talented edge defenders that Georgia just signed in last year's class. Damon Wilson is going to see the field probably sooner than later. Sam Mpemba, another long, athletic pass rusher, he's going to see the field eventually. And Gabe Harris, too, one of the better athletes that they even brought in last year's class. He's itching to see the field. So if you're Marvin Jones Jr., who just missed the spring, he was out all spring, right? You better start playing your best football. And you better, this is a big few months for Marvin Jones Jr. He's got to hold those guys off. Chaz Chambliss, I think, is going to see the field a lot at outside linebacker. Darius Smith, another Leonard Floyd-looking clone. I mean, he's could be on this list, too, from that 2022 class. He's a long, athletic pass rusher. Marvin Jones Jr. was highly ranked. He was a 5-star guy. It's time for him to buckle up, get healthy, and, get better and better with each practice. That's what he needs to do if he's going to hold off Darius Smith and those 3 edge defenders behind him who are, hungry for playing time and hungry to show what they can do. So this is a big year for Marvin Jones Jr. As talented as he is, he's got to turn in quickly to the player that I think the Georgia staff thought he would be when they recruited him. Jalen Walker, middle linebacker, man. We saw glimpses of him throughout the season, but that sack at the end of the TCU game, I think, opened up a lot of eyes. Probably not nationally because everyone had turned the game off by that point, but 6'2", 220 pounds, competitor, leader, son of a coach. He knows what he's doing, and I think he could be the next great possible All-American that plays under Glenn Schumann. Now, he's not going to start, right? Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Small Munden are going to be the 2 starters, in my opinion, as they should, but Jalen Walker could be that 3rd linebacker getting in the mix. And like Marvin Jones Jr., he's going to have to fight off 3 really talented inside linebackers that are going to be hungry to see the field. So if you're Jalen Walker, this is go time. You might not be one of the 2 starting middle linebackers, but you're going to see the field a lot. And I think he's going to develop. And if he gets better and better each week, he is bound for a monster season. Dalen Everett is another guy, another 5-star cornerback that Georgia signed, former Clemson commit. He's long, athletic, plenty of ball skills. He knows how to jump up and catch the ball. He's got to try to win that job opposite of Kamari Lassiter. Nyland Green is going to be right there, though. Nyland Green, if it's go time for anyone in the secondary, Nyland Green in that 2021 class, this will be his 3rd season. He needs to win that job if he has his eyes on the NFL anytime soon. But Dalen Everett, who is getting better, he's still being coached up. And if you watch, he's going to make a mistake here and there. But Kirby Smart is right there in his ear telling him what to do, because I think the staff has big plans for Dalen Everett, who is one of the top cornerbacks in the country out of high school, like 6'2", 190. I mean, he's physically gifted with ball skills, with quickness. He's not a burner. He's not going to bring you Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes type of speed, but he runs well enough, and he is technically sound. Just needs more experience. The more he plays, the better he's going to be. So I think he has the possibility, especially if he wins that job as a sophomore, to have a really nice, not only 2023 season, but a nice career too. He could be a 1st-round type of guy if he continues to learn and develop under Kirby, Will Muschamp, Fran Brown, and that defensive staff. So I've got high expectations for him, and I think the staff does as well. So just a few guys from that very talented, extremely talented 2022 class who, with 1 year, under their belts, I think a few of these guys have the light is coming on for them more and more and entering their second season this upcoming fall. If they keep developing and working hard and have a big summer and fall camp, they keep improving. I think a lot of these guys are going to see the field early, and I think are going to really surprise some Georgia fans. And I love that class that they brought in, especially on the defensive side of the football. And I think a lot of these guys, again, could have a big breakout type of season in the fall in 2023. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, really appreciate it. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on Dawg Post.